Hello. I want to talk about some things that are really important for safe drivers. If you don't know, I'm a state certified instructor. I've been teaching teens and adults over 21 years. So I want to go ahead and talk about some safe driving practices to get you out there on the road safely. When you get into your vehicle, you want to do something called pre-driving checks. You want to look around the vehicle, make sure everything is safe, nothing is on the ground. Are you leaking oil? Are you leaking fuel, transmission fluid? Are there screws, debris on the ground? You as a driver have got to be aware and got to be safe. It really sucks if you have a flat tire. And trust me, I've been there before and I've had a flat tire. It's because I wasn't looking on the road. So you really have to be careful. Let's talk about checking both ways. When you're driving, you've got to use your mirrors. Okay, I have a mirror up. I'm looking to the center mirror. I'm looking to the left. I'm looking to the right. You have to have good eye movements. And oh, by the way, I ran into one of my students' parents and they said, hey, she's almost ready to take her test. I'm just trying to get her to look deliberately to convince the road tester that they're looking. You have a blind spot. Your blind spot is to your left shoulder. I just look to my left and check my blind spot. To my right, I look to my right and check my blind spot. You as a beginning driver have got to make sure you're comfortable and safe checking those blind spots. That is super important. Let's talk about right turns. You got to look left and right and left before you make your right-hand turn. You've got to reduce your speed. You got to go slow into your turns, and you have to accelerate out. Your DMV tester or road tester is looking for a smooth transition from a road into a turn into accelerate out. What do a lot of beginning drivers do? They hit the brake too hard. They hit the gas too hard, and they are a little bit out of control. Whoa, what was that? You don't want to be out of control. You want to be safe. You want to be consistent, and you want to demonstrate that even though you may feel that you are out of control. Let's talk about left-hand turns. We know left-hand turns are the most dangerous type of turn. Why? Because you're turning in front of oncoming traffic. Sure, they're protected left-hand turns, and what a protected left-hand turn is when traffic is stopped, you have a turning arrow, okay? And your turning arrow is green. The driver, we're the driver. You have a green turning arrow pointing to the left, and then you turn into the nearest lane, whether that's by the double yellow, whether that's by the curb, whatever lane you start in is the lane you finish in. I can't emphasize that enough. Let's keep going. You want to be able to back up straight. And what I have my students do, we back into driveways. We practice looking over our shoulder, having our left hand to the top of the wheel, and backing into driveways. That is extremely important that you know how to back up, not only back in, but back in straight. Some cars have backup cameras, but on your DMV test or road test, or for beginning drivers, you can't use that. Your best backup camera is what? Your eyes. Look out your back window. Stop playing. Let's continue. You got to be able to diagonal park to the right or diagonal park to the left. You have to have your car properly centered. Many of my students are high school students or young adults. If you do not learn how to park, you will definitely be criticized and teased when you park. You got to make sure your car is properly parked, okay? Whoa, man, what was that noise? Anyway, I want to continue going. So those are some of the important things. Let's talk about next, visual search. Are you searching to the left? Are you searching to the right? Look in my eyes. You've got to move your eyes. It's really important. And a lot of beginning drivers are scared. You're scared to move your eyes. You must move your eyes all the time. Let's talk about lane positioning. A lot of beginning drivers hug the right. Why? Because, and we're talking about North America, I know some of my North American or my UK brothers and sisters that drive on the left side and they have the steering wheel on the right side is totally different. We're talking about North American drivers where our steering wheel is on the left side, and we, all your life, beginning drivers have been in the passenger seat. When you're driving with mom and dad, your older sister, brother, you need to ask them questions. You need to interact with them. How do you make a lane change? How did you know to make this maneuver? How did you know then to stop, then change a lane? Ask questions. Let's talk about hazards. You need to be able to identify hazards. If you're in the school zone, we have people dropping off, picking up kids. We have buses getting in and out. We have teens getting in and out. It's a very dangerous environment, and you have to be that safe driver. Let's talk about decision making. If you can stop in 3 seconds at a yellow light without slamming the brakes, have a light stop. Don't slam the brake. It will definitely upset the balance of the car, and it's really important. Whoa. So I need you to understand that following distance, you want to keep space. The biggest thing that I teach my students is to keep space. Have a space cushion of 3 cars, 4 cars, 5 cars. Man, there's a big B. Whoa. You have to have a space cushion to allow cars to maneuver. Some people use blinkers, some people don't. Some people forget and turn at the last second. Keep space. It's super important that you keep your space. And when you have good space, you will have great control. Let's talk about decision making. You have to be able to make good decisions. If you are changing lanes, it's mirror, turn signal, blind spot. If I'm making a lane change to the left, practice it with me. Mirror, turn signal, blind spot. You have to be able to do that. And what do beginning drivers do? They grip the wheel really hard and they're scared to look over their shoulder. And this is when the whole car veers to the right, veers to the left. I can't tell you how many times students have done this, but I try to encourage them to relax, to take your time and get comfortable. Let's talk about stopping distance. Keep space. Don't ride on top of cars. It's very uncomfortable. It's very dangerous. You as a driver have to be aware. And when you are aware, you're safe and more consistent. Let's talk about speed control. I just ran into a parent today. Hey, my son is taking a road test. Guess what? I said, what? They failed their road test. I said, why? They were speeding. I'm like, oh my God, you cannot speed on your road test. But cars drive 3 over, 5 over, 7 over. Listen to me, Linda, listen. You cannot drive over the speed limit. If it's 55, you're driving at 53, 54. If it's 70, you're at 68, you're at 69, maybe 70. Have good speed control, critical to your development. Let's talk about intersections. Intersections are the most dangerous place. You cannot assume anything. Do not run lights. I'll say it again. Intersections. Do not run lights. You cannot do that. Be consistent, because the minute you run a light, you're putting your life, open your hand, you're putting your life in someone else's hand. Don't do that. Keep space, be consistent, take your time and make good decisions. You have got to scan, you've got to look ahead. Cars are making right turns, they're making left turns. You have pedestrians with earbuds in. Be that defensive driver and be safe and consistent. I need you all to do your best work. Please leave some comments. If this brought you value, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I want to say thank you so much for what you do.